Hey, welcome back. What I'm going to do today, I'm still working with OCaml 2D game dev. I'm working on an RPG, I guess. And today, well, I want to start working with the triggers and all this, but I think we're going to do the actions first. Oh, you just start working on them. I'm not sure how far we're going to get today. So what we have so far is basically this is okay for the moment, but it's not great and it has a problem. This works to update the entities. All right, so this works because at the moment we have one entity, which is the player, and it exists only by itself, right? So it's checking the map that if the tile it wants to move is blocked or not. And if it's not, it changes the state. And it does update them, whatever, right? Which is fine, but it works just because the entity is not interacting with other entities. If this update, so update how it works is just go through all the entities and returns an entity that has been changed, right? But then this has a problem, which is what happens when there's more entities, right? What if, which is something I want to add, right? What if there is an NPC, for example, in this tile here, right? If I move here, and the entity wants to move to this cell at the same time, it's not going to work. So, and also, because there is a chance that I want to add multiplayer to this, what we're going to do, or what I want to do, is instead of, I mean, this is fine, but applying the change of and performing the change of the entity has to be in a different function. So essentially, this update here let's call it update 2. It still needs the controller and it still needs the map and it still needs the entities. This has to return actions. So let's define what is an action. An action is going to be essentially, well, we're going to have one for now, which is going to be move of, how do I do this? To make it, okay, so move is going to have an ID and where do you want to move. And then every entity needs an ID. It's going to be the player, right? Now, I'm not completely sure how to do this. This is just, I haven't planned this properly, but I think we need the ID, an ID, instead of the index because the list of entities could change. So basically, So a lot of this is going to be common, right? The controller is going to be the same, but this here is going to change because let us stay with control. I don't know, process player or player control, and it's not going to update the state. So this is the equivalent of, in a multiplayer environment, this is the client checking things beforehand, and then it's going to tell the server that wants to move, and then the server will validate that. So so this is not going to be the state. This is going to be an action. And I guess, do we need to check the facing? It's here. I think. I mean, no, because we will calculate this here, and it's going to be fine. Or maybe not. So I guess we need to know what is facing as well. Actually, if we set the direction, do we need to say the type? We don't, right? Because we know what we are. She's going to do that. Okay. Play and control. So in reality, we just need to know the direction here, right? And we don't need the position here anymore. So we just need to do this. And if not, what? Let me think. So we don't need this. I guess we still need to check if the map is blocked, right? Or shall we decide that? Because if the map is blocked, no, we still need to do it. Okay, so this is going to be more move. Yes. And we're going to keep simplifying this because it's going to be no action, and this is going to be, actually we can do, man, anyway, long day. We can just keep it like this. And in here, okay, what if we do an option here? Is this really necessary? Okay, and then match on the option. Okay. Deal with, if it's none, empty list in some direction, then move direction. I guess. Why you're not happy? Because it's something like this, I guess. Excuse me. What's complaining about this? This is the direction. The stakeholder should be replaced with expression type A. So there is something I'm doing wrong, but okay. I mean, whatever. Okay, because it has to be a list. Okay, so that will be the controller for the player. And then we are going to go through all the entities here. And instead of date entity, it's going to be process entity. I don't know. All right, process entity. Maybe it's not a good name. It's not a great name. Okay, let's copy this, and then we can chop things. Because I think it's not going to be right. So this is going to be process entity. Oh yes, process, because we're going to pass the entity anyway. So we do process. Now we don't need to date the frame, so that's gone. We don't need the map either. We just need controlling the entities, and for each entity we don't need to update the frame now here. And do we need to do the state? No, because it will return a series of entities. So match entity. So if it's idle, then play CDL. If it's working, blah blah blah. Everything. This should be in the action, right? So this should be when we apply the action. So no, not here. And this doesn't go here either. You know, for anything else, nothing. It's an empty list. And now this update too is returning a list of lists, and that's not what we want. So I guess we can fall left. Which expects the function that they need and then the value. Okay, so the function is going to be fun et, and then we do process et, and then we add to accumulator something like this. Some confused. I undefined ID. Yeah, that's fine because we changed this. All right, so this now returns an action list. So it's not going to be yeah, it's going to be update. So basically, the update function, what it's going to do is it's going to calculate what. So it's going to tell what things we need to apply in the next function for that entity. So it means that so this will be the logic, and then what is going to happen is that two entities could be moving at the same time, and then we can add things like an entity could have like speed, so, or dexterity, whatever. You add the stats, and if two entities move to the same cell, the one that has more dexterity, for example, could be moving and the other one doesn't. And that's something that can be decided by the server, which is not going to be a server for now, but it's going to be in the second pass. So, okay, so I'm not completely sure about the name, but we're going to call it update. And now we're going to have another one here, which is process the actions. And how do we call that? We call it apply. So maybe it's not the right name. Because you're going to update the entities anyway. Anyway, so the frame. Now we're going to have a problem here, because in order to make the movement continuous, we have this here, which is going to be, has to be there, has to be here, otherwise this is not going to be well. Move nicely. So this will create an action. So this is because if we just reach the position we're trying to move, we need to check for the controller. So we create an action immediately so we don't lose a frame. All right, okay, I like that. Now in apply here, we don't need this anymore. No, that's not true. We may need something of this. No, we don't. So apply action. So we need control map, frame, control map, actions, and entities. So apply action. So we need to do two things. Update entity. And update entity is the one that needs to update the frame. Because we need to run this in all the to update all the animations, right? Does it make more sense this to do it in here? Because it doesn't. Okay, I like it. It's kind of breaking the rules, but yeah, because it's updating the animation frame. Updating the animation frame, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, but that means that we need to return the entities as well here, not only the actions. Nah, let's not do that. Oh yes. I don't know. I mean, it would be nice if only iterate once in the okay. Okay. So day frame for entity, which means that we need to return the entities as well here. Actions and entities. So, and then the entity we're processing, right? So press easy. So we need to return processing and actions, and then 80 entities, or probably better. Okay, so this is going to be instead. No, thank you. Excuse me. Isn't this? Or what we can do is instead we can do this, and we can do and then in, and we return actions list entities. Does it matter? The entities probably not. Okay, let's forget about that for now. The order of the entities, it doesn't matter. Alright, okay. Skip this. And now it is so what is this function going to do? So this is updating of entities and create actions. And then this apply actions, whatever that means for now. So we're going to update this anymore. Now in here it's going to be and it has to be what has to be. Okay, let's tidy up this. So we're going to change the entity now, but we need to match on the action. So this is going to be an action. So we can do function and then it's move, and it's going to be id direction, right? Which means All right, okay, so that means that this is so wrong. Well, not all wrong, but not very good. Okay, so this has to be here. And then we remove position. It's fine. Let pos equals it pos in no. Sorry, what is the problem? The expression is better recorded an action list. So press CTL returns an action. So okay. So this has to be different. Okay, so that's EP in actions press SSD update frame. No, not anymore, because we have the entities. And then process ID is going to return now things. So player control is going to be actions and the entity. And in here, actions and the entity. And in here, it's going to be no actions and updating the entity. And this is going to be and the entity. Right? Or wrong? This match is unused. Because we're covering all the cases, probably. Yes, because it's working, and then I don't. Because there is only one case, which is the player. Okay. Now, we are not updating the frame, are we? So what we're going to do is then I will change this at some point. This doesn't look great, does it? Okay, but this now is really updating the state of the entities and creating actions. And then apply actions, only apply actions. So so move ID, for now it's not going to do anything. The only thing it's going to do is move to work, right? Okay. So all this goes away. And this is going to do something, but we still don't know where it is. Okay, so now this needs to know the frame. And also X frame animation, blah blah blah. I'm kind of lost right now. What is frame used for? Frame was used of the frame. Nothing here. Oh, I know, I remember now. So it has to be something that I have removed here. Okay. Yeah, this piece. Yeah, because we only call update frame when it's needed, right? So this is not right. So this is more like it. Now frame is used, and in here we don't need frame, we don't need control. We need the map and the actions. So here we need to be able to find okay, so this is going to break things. And then let ID. I mean, we can do something similar for now. We need to do this. And family, it needs the ID and entities. We'll find what we need to do with that. Okay, so so every time we apply for an action always needs to return all the entities. How do I do that? Because it's going to change an entity, right? How did I do this? Let's look at Haskell again. Shall we? How do you do this? I don't remember. Maybe even the names are better. So update all is update state process actions. So get a list of actions, and it returns a state and a list of entities. After play, so that always return. Yeah, it returns with the entities. Okay, see, head entities, state entities. Fine. I know how we're going to do it. So apply action always gets the action and entities. But this is not going to work, right? Because the Haskell project is different because the player is not in the action, blah, 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 blah. So the player is always the head of the list, is the first character. And the interactions are always between the player and the other entities, whilst in here, it's not going to be like that, isn't it? It's not going to be the ID, it has to be an index. Or it's not a list of entities. It could be that. Maybe it's not a list of entities. It could be that it's just a map. So you have an entity ID, and the entity ID gives you because in that way we could be just changing the map. I mean, this is not going to work because it's giving me the entity, right? But then I need to return all the entities with the one that I have modified, right? So it's not the entity. It's more like index. And here is going to be find index. And this returns the index where it is, right? So index by ID give us the index. So that means that no, it's a list. List. So basically we can just extract it, and then what do I access by index? Since the map of the function is applied to an index of the element of the physical domain counting from 0. It's a second element. Okay, fine, that's not it. Oh, nth. Returns the nth element of a given list. The first element head of the list is the position 0. Partition returns a parent list, while L is the list of the elements and satisfy the predicate. remove associative, returns a list of pairs with the first pair. No, that's not it. Split. This is pair interpreted now. Take one, no. I have no idea how to do this. So, I mean, return the element of the list. The first element had is the list of vision 0. So, list end. So is the list first, entities, index. So that means I'm complaining about this, but anyway. No. Oh yes. So entities and then this type of hard represents about okay. Like this. Okay, happy now. So yeah, this returns an entity. Yeah, but we need to update the entity, right? How do we do that? I mean, we need to split the list in parts, right? So can we just, not sure, list gives me any way of doing like split or something? Like, no, that's for tuples. No, not what we want. Compare now, concat map, construct. Okay, I know how to do it, but it's going to be super slow. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go back to what it was, right? Which is fine. Let's not touch that for now. And here. So what we're going to do is, let's do it. So list, we're going to map, and then in function, let's create the entity. So match entity, no, not that. If entity ID equals to ID, then something, otherwise entities. Okay, so then what we're going to do here, it's going to be entity, so it's going to be entity with state equals to something, walk x cos x plus y. For example, because we don't care for now, I will change it later. And direction now, how it's called, facing, I remember, facing, which is a direction. So now walk is walking. And in here, so apply action, partial application, entities, and the map is not used. We need to use the map, which is what we're going to use now. Maybe we can write this in a more pleasant way. Okay, so let's try something different. Function. I mean, it doesn't matter, but we just want it to look nice. So, this, then we'll do this. Otherwise, just send the entity, right? So how do you do function? No, sorry, my bad. Okay, so in here, we need to find out where are we going, right? So let inc x inc y, no, 2x 2y equals match beer with, so up is going to be, and we need the position next to it, pause in, so up is going to be, to x is going to be pause x, and because we're going up, it's going to be pause y minus whatever I call that. What did I call that? Tile size. Wow. Then down is going to be like this. Left is going to be like this. And right is going to be like this. Okay, and now let it to be something, which is if map is blocked, map, and then what? X and Y. So to X to Y. Then I don't. Otherwise, then we move to the place. And then it's going to be state. and we always change the facing. Huh? Although we're not going to see that because the animation is only one, it's always facing front back. All right, okay, so update will update the frame of the entity when it needs to do it, and we are controlling that in here. So which is going to be then the animation frame is needed, and then here is and then I guess we can change the name now because it's now update the break frame. So now update with controller, and then this is going to be the identity now. Sorry, still. And with the identity. So we did the entity, so basically the frames, otherwise the internal state, which is if it's idle, the check control, if it's working, blah, blah. If it's working, then we apply the movement, and then the fall left, what it does is because now we accumulate the entities and any actions that any entity is giving us. Fine, then we apply the actions, which is we pass the map, the actions and the entities. So we have an action that we have defined that is move. That basically is when we want to move any entity in one direction, right? We only need the direction because we have the position already in the entity. So if it's a move, this is awful. We'll see about that. Okay, so we look for the entity. I think I'm going to end doing a map, but for now, I need to get it working first, right? So we find the entity and everything else. I mean, the problem is that we're going through all the entities for every action. That's not very good, is it? Anyway, so we calculate to where are we moving, calculating X and Y depending on the direction. Then if it's map, if it's block, we don't move. Otherwise, we change the state of working. And there is something we're going to do at some point, which is in the map, we need a matrix to know where the entities are. Because when we move from one tile to the other, we need to mark that tile as in use by whom, because it's going to be useful as well when we perform an action on a tile. We can send, for example, you press Z or the A button on the controller, which could be talk, for example. Then we need to create an action to talk with the NPC, blah, blah, blah. Cool. If it's not, this is awful, but we will fix it later and then apply blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there is a lot of things broken now. There is not a lot of things broken. There is some things broken. And why? Because we don't have an ID. Which is fine, because whatever. We're going to change that later. And here is going to be actions and entities. And then in here, we don't pass the frame or the map anymore. Is that right? Frame? No, it's not right. We pass the frame. The frame, the control, and the date. And now it is going to be let entities apply the map excuse me, what are you looking for? The map action list entity list. And this is going to be a little wrong because this is not returning what it should be returning. Okay. Let's find out why. This is returning a list of no, that's not right. It is right, actually. Because apply action goes through all the entities. No, we can't do it like this. We're going to do this. Apply actions, entity, actions, entities. And this is going to be apply actions, entities. And then match actions with like this in the tail. If it's an empty list, then return entities. And this map here, okay, sorry, this map here returns, okay, let entities equals to this. In apply actions, tail entities, actions, sorry, and maybe not tail, like actions tail, I don't know, how do you call that? Okay, nothing happens. It didn't crash either. Cool. Really cool. So apply map actions entities. So if there is no actions, return the entities, correct. And then for every action, we process all the entities to see which one affects. That makes sense. So what is going on here? So update entity 880. There might be something funny here. Okay, let's do something here. Let's do let this equals so entities and we're doing action. So how was this the right thing that we did? Okay. Oh, this one. I never remember. So we can look here, print a line and show. Sorry, something wrong. Control driving show. Or action. That we should be able to print the actions, right? So why is there only show controller? I don't know, to be honest. I just want to print this. Oh, maybe because I need to do this in direction as well. And then I can do show action. And then list iterate. So okay. So we created the actions. So the problem is the apply. I mean, I'm going to regret removing this, but it's a problem I have. I don't like this crap in here. So so is the problem is the apply. What is wrong with you, apply? So so apply receives the map, the action, and the entities. And then we call apply actions, which takes actions and entities. So if there are no actions, then whatever is the entities. If there are actions, is this correct? No. So it is getting here. Oh, excuse me. What I am doing here. So entities, actions, tail, because we passed the action first. Okay, so could it be that the ID is wrong? No, we saw it was ID 0, right? I mean, there is something super obvious here that I don't see. but I don't see it, honestly. Oh my God. Okay. Much better, right? There you go. Done. Now, how awful is this? Especially this here. Ah, okay. I don't know. I'm going to add a note here. Like, void the entities action. I mean, the answer is probably yes, because it depends what the map. So if a map can give us a way of updating the map without going through, because that's the only thing that, you know, it will improve, or a hash, I don't know, there must be a type that we can use that we don't need to go through all the entities to apply an action, because we could be accessing the action that we want to, you know, there will be cases in which we, you know, like when you take an object, right? So for example, so let's see, I don't know, you're facing the flowers, you touch the flowers and you touch the flowers, I don't know, I still don't know if that's even going to be possible, but you know, if we're going to take an object, that could be an action, which is take, and then you see who's taking it, right? So the idea of the entity and the idea of the entity you're going to take. So two players could be trying to take the same object, and one of them is going to win and the other one is not. So that will change the state of two things, like, or maybe only one. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is probably not the way it should go. But I think for today, this is pretty good. Considering that I didn't have a big plan. Okay, so this is split action update and entity update. So now, so this means now that when we apply the action, means that we basically can update state on the map as well if we want to. So we can update, like, so if you move, when we create the move, so move currently is only changing the state to be from idle to walking, right? So what we can do is, on that matrix that is going to track where the entities are, we can set the origin where we are to free, and then put ourselves in type will be going. I mean, I don't know. Can we use the layer we have for the map has a layer for collision detection, right? We could be using that. But I think that has a disadvantage anyway, because you know that the cell is empty, but you don't know who is there, right? Sorry, the cell is busy, but you don't know who's there. So having just to track the entities is probably better. And you know, you will have the entity ID of who is on the cell. So basically, when we go to here, map is blocked should also check for if there is not an entity already in the destination. If there is an entity in the destination, we can work there, but if it's not, then we update the map saying, well, this entity is not here anymore and is here now, which is kind of, I need to think about that. Probably because that means that for the rest of the entities, this entity is already in destination whilst it's still transitioning to that one. I guess, I mean, you could be blocking both, but that could mean that I need to think about that. So essentially it could happen that you want to interact with an entity that is in one cell, and no, I think we need to move it to destination and that's it. Anyway, that's going to be everything I'm going to do today. I mean, it was kind of not too bad, interesting. I'm feeling better about OCaml. Cool, let's leave it here. So next time, I think we can potentially do the triggers. I mean, I'm putting things here, but these are not, this is not going to be, how it's going to look. Well, because it's going to be data driven. So it's going to be like putting things in tile in an object layer. No, these are tile layers in an object layer, and then convert that into, again, just a layer with the different triggers. So we have a type for triggers, and for now, so this action is done, to be honest. So this is done. I mean, I'm going to put done because I want to track that there's more things to do, right? And then we're going to have triggers, like to start with on enter. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Could it be just a regular entity instead of a trigger layer? No, I need to think about that. So yes, so when you enter on a tile, we're going to have, for example, an action that is because move to, and then, so we have move, right? And one is going to be teleport. Why? Because we're going to have a point in the map, like it's going to be a door or a town or something like that. And when you're going to step on it, we do that transition and we move to a different map in a different location. That's a teleport. So at the moment we have the move action. So we need a teleport action for now. And then they, you know, like pressing the A button or whatever, that is going to do things, but we need something to apply to that. So I don't know, maybe implement some basic objects, but I think NPCs is probably better, because otherwise we start interacting with objects. I need to start working in the UI, and yeah, it will need, yeah, the UI will be probably next before doing that, because even if we have the NPC, yeah, I mean I can print things on a standard output and we can see that on the terminal, but yeah, we need panels, we need text, we need things like that. Anyway, but that's not going to be today, it will be the next time, maybe. Cool. Well, see you next time. Bye. Bye.